Shop the Sherwin-Williams Labor Day sale and get 35% off paints and stains August 22nd through September 4th. With prices starting at $31.84, it's the perfect time to transform your space with color. Whether you're looking to revamp your interior or exterior, we have you covered with bold hues, soothing neutrals, and everything in between. Visit your neighborhood Sherwin-Williams store or shop the sale online. Delivery available on qualifying orders. Click the banner to learn more. Retail sales only. Some exclusions apply. See store for details.
You are about to listen to the Dr. Daliah Show. Sassy, stimulating medical talk radio. Any medical advice Dr. Daliah Wax gives on her show should not be substituted for an actual visit to your medical provider. And now, here's Dr. Daliah.
All right. We are back on the Dr. Daliah Show, 1-877-Doc Dolly, 1-877-DOC-DALI. So the other day I posted that it's been 4 weeks since my last homeowner association violation. I have gone 4 weeks without violating something in my homeowners association. Yay, thank you. I appreciate it. Thank you so much. Yes, it's been, that's a huge milestone for me. And I don't do well with homeowners associations. I get why they're there. When you live in communities whose, have people that will, play loud music and dump their trash or let their dog poop on your lawn, or paint their house glitter pink. And I get that. If your home value is very, concerning to you, you will sacrifice freedoms for your home value. The problem is we're sacrificing a lot of freedom. And this man keeps getting fined from his HOA. And you want to know what he's doing, what the big crime is? He's putting out water for thirsty kids and people. David Martin of Goodyear, Arizona, says he wanted to help his neighbors stay hydrated during the triple-digit temperatures, but he keeps getting fined from his homeowners association. He has been placing a cooler filled with free bottled water near the sidewalk outside his home since May of 2020. He says it's for kids, delivery drivers, the couple holding hands walking down the street. It's for the little kid who has to walk his dog in the heat. Now, in 2022, the Canyon Trails HOA, and this is according to MoneyWise, the management company First Service Residential gave him a warning. But then they followed up with an apology letter. So he thought, I'm good, it's done. We won't have any problems ever again. And then May of this year, he starts getting fined. Actually, it was May of 2024. So he got fined for $50, then got multiple citations for $100. And every time he puts out the cooler, somebody's watching. You never see who's watching, but they sneak by and then they give you a fine. Just like somebody caught me leaving the house, and the picture was because the tree, and you don't want to cut trees that are photosynthesizing and giving us oxygen and providing birds homes for their nests. The tree branch was covering up the number of my house. And the picture they submitted and showed me showed my garage half open, meaning it was on the way open or so it was either on the way open or on the way closed. My guess is on the way open early morning. And they caught it and left. And I never saw the person who took pictures. It's kind of creepy, if you ask me. I don't know who they hire, private investigators, how they get these covert, pieces of evidence. But anytime he puts his cooler out, he gets busted. And so he says, here we are in July, the hottest day of the year, and we are still talking about a water cooler with free cold water. It's ridiculous that they're adding violations to a total that's not going to get paid because I am giving out free water. So the Canyon Trails HOA released a statement to KPHO last year saying the association does not object to a resident providing free water bottles to the community. Okay. However, the community's rules do not allow a resident to advertise water bottle distribution from a portable ice chest located next to their garage that is visible from a neighboring property. Who complained? Come on. So after 3 months of mounting fines, he lost a petition to recall 3 of their board members. It has received over 100 signatures. I'll help sign it. And according to 12 News, a special meeting was held on July 10th, where 190 out of 210 votes casted removing the board members. But then they held an emergency meeting, voiding the results. I got to tell you, these HOAs, there's nothing democratic about them. They claimed that the petition did not meet signature requirements and questioned whether the 210 votes reflected a quorum for a community of more than 1,000 homes. Yeah, people don't like getting fired, so they changed the rules. And so, you know, these rules are driving us crazy. Now, I get you don't want a stranger that could be poisoning people. But this is a neighbor that people know. He's been there for years. It's hot outside. He wants to make sure people are hydrated. A person doesn't have to drink the water. There's been no complaints that I know of that anybody got sick from the water. You could tell there's a seal, you know, because when you open it, snaps. And so I don't see a problem with it at all. But apparently they do. And these HOAs are really driving people crazy. In fact, I'm hearing young people who are looking at homes. They go, I just don't want an HOA because we're paying them. Oops, sorry. The dog's here. We're paying them to fine us. And boy, do I get fined. It's ridiculous. And my HOA premiums, I don't even want to tell you how much. If it wasn't for a gym in my neighborhood, it really wouldn't, I'd really question it. Although I do like the security. Again, if you're paying for security and you're paying, you can make it worth your while. But if they're not providing security and all they're doing is going after you because they're like, we need more money. So I am sure we could find something. There's a weed over there. I think there needs to be more oversight. As much as I don't like oversight or the government getting involved, I think these HOAs have gone way too far. And so, the hydration issue, like when people are running in marathons, I've always wondered about that because people will hand them water. And you're like, you're taking something from a stranger. How do you know they're not roofing it or whatever? Well, if it's people it's people you are familiar with. I think it's fine. And so I don't like, my HOA. I hate to say that. I love the security. I love the gym. I love some of the people in my community. But whoever is trying to find ways to cause you to make money, it's ridiculous. 1-877-DOC-DALIAH. Don't go away.
Shop the Sherwin-Williams Labor Day sale and get 35% off paints and stains August 22nd through September 4th. With prices starting at $31.84, it's the perfect time to transform your space with color. Whether you're looking to revamp your interior or exterior, we have you covered with bold hues, soothing neutrals, and everything in between. Visit your neighborhood Sherwin-Williams store or shop the sale online. Delivery available on qualifying orders. Click the banner to learn more. Retail sales only. Some exclusions apply. See store for details.
This is an urgent announcement for anyone that's $10,000 or more in debt. Before you make another minimum payment, you need to know there are special programs that can completely free you of your debt. Total Financial Freedom can help you become debt-free in months instead of years. Resolve your credit card debt, signature loans, department store cards, internet loans, and timeshares. Call Total Financial Freedom now at 800-878-6020 for a free consultation. For 16 years, Total Financial Freedom has helped thousands get out of debt. You can feel confident when calling because Total Financial Freedom is A+ rated by the Better Business Bureau. Battling for years and years stuck in the endless cycle of minimum payments could take decades. You have the right to get your debt resolved and substantially reduce your monthly payments. Call Total Financial Freedom now at 800-878-6020. That's 800-878-6020. 800-878-6020.
Let's face it, guys. We're living in times where the truth is becoming more suppressed and censorship is increasing at an alarming rate, especially on social media platforms. It's Clyde, and I want to tell you about a safe and secure digital playground we put together just for you. It's aftermath.media. You get access to thousands of Ground Zero archives and podcasts, along with our private social media groups with your basic membership starting at only $7 a month. Each subscription includes tech support, access to the RSS feeds, along with our own chat room and Telegram channel. In addition, the premium membership includes research study groups, webinars, a document and movie library, a live video stream of Ground Zero, a monthly Zoom chat with me, and other bonus content. Be sure to check out our yearly specials as well. Sign up today while you're thinking about it. Sign up at aftermath.media. Again, that's aftermath.media.
Daliah Show. Thank you all for tuning in. 1-877 Doc Dolly, 1-877 DOCDALI. Big thanks to Talk Media Network for making the show happen. Big thanks to Daniel, our producer, and big thanks to y'all for tuning in. We really do appreciate it. Don't forget to follow us on Twitter or X at Dr. Daliah, Facebook, The Dr. Daliah Show, and on YouTube, click like and subscribe. So when I hear these news outlets or these media outlets saying, "Oh, thoughts and prayers," we need more than thoughts and prayers. Thoughts and prayers are not enough. The thoughts and prayers recommendation is extremely important. Now, of course, when you have a shooter, that shoots up kids like this Robin Westman, it's going to take more than a village. I mean, we got a lot of work cut out for us because these shooters, they're just too many. There's and the sickness in their mind and their justification for doing it is beyond any logic. However, telling a community that we need your thoughts and prayers is crucial. It's actually paramount in the response. To review the 5 stages of grief. First, when something tragic happens, you go through denial. You're like, no, that couldn't have happened. No, it didn't happen. No, they aren't dead. No, it can't happen. No, you go through denial. Then you start to go through a bargaining phase, going, please, please, please don't let this be true. Please don't let this be true. Oh gosh. And then you get mad and you go through the anger phase and you are furious. Then you go through depression, because you're realizing it is true and you can't really do much with your anger. And then the 5th stage is acceptance. When the public hears that there's a shooting that involved kids, or a school shooting, or somebody was killed, or there was an attempt on President Trump's life, the anger phase can be one of the most dangerous in the whole in that process, obviously. And what public officials have to do and what leaders have to do is give the public something to do. Like when there's a missing kid, okay, let's get a bunch of us to go and look for that kid. Here's Amber Alerts, right? Pray. Send your thoughts and prayers. Send support. Donate. We understand that thinking about the situation, yes, may not necessarily stop the next shooter directly, but you have got to give the community something to do. And I think saying thoughts and prayers is huge. One is, yes, we could use the prayers, absolutely. But 2 is rather than people say, that's it, I'm going to do this, I'm going to pull my kid out of school, I'm going to raise arms up again. People get mad, and they should be mad. This is horrible what this piece of work did on innocent kids and teachers and families at a mass on Wednesday morning. You should be mad. But we have to direct, that anger into something that could be productive for the time being. I mean, Minneapolis has gun laws, strict gun laws. So for those of you that want to make the gun laws even stricter and you feel that's going to solve the situation, that's your choice. For those of us who think, okay, we got to do something more with identifying these people with mental illness, identifying these people who revere previous school shooters. We have to do something with identifying people in our society and how to get them away from others or rehabilitate them or not spewing more hate. The reason why thoughts and prayers get promoted and urged is because oftentimes all this hate that's being spewed out, all this anti-religion hate, anti-Trump, anti-Israel, it does brew more hate. So telling the public to stop the hate, send thoughts and prayers, unite us. When people go through tragedy and they go through the 5 stages of grief, the last thing you want to do is leave them alone. That's why we have wakes, we have shivas, we have in our different religions opportunities where people come to those who are grieving to not leave them alone. And having them express their thoughts is very, very important. So all these, Jen Psaki and whatever saying, oh, we don't need the thoughts and prayers or they're useless or they're whatever. No, stop it. Now, another thing that is being criticized is RFK Jr., Health and Human Services Secretary, want to study if antidepressants and other psychotic drugs might be contributing to violence. Absolutely. I'm glad he is. Well, of course, the left is going after him. They're saying he's peddling BS, but RFK Jr. in a Fox News interview said they're looking at antidepressants called selective serotonin reuptake inhibitors and other psychiatric drugs. Now, I know some doctors are like, well, wait, whoa, what's he doing that for? Don't we need people on medication? Well, one thing I have said is the big mistake we do in medicine is we put you on a medication and we're like, we did our part. Okay. Now, as a family doctor, I would follow up with you in a week, 2 weeks. I'd follow up with you pretty closely. Then would go a month, then would go 3 months, then would go 6 months. Of course, come in anytime you need, because I want to make sure that it's working. I want to make sure that you're tolerating it. I want to make sure it's a medication you remember to take. Because when you don't take the medication, you could have a rebound depression, rebound anger, rebound anxiety. And so we know in the medical community how to put people on medication. We could prescribe things left and right, blindfolded. We're good at prescribing. But are we good at management? Well, we were until Obamacare and everybody lost their doctor. And now people just see random physicians different times. But if you can, see a psychiatrist, if you could see a family medicine provider, if you could see, internal medicine, if you could see somebody who is working with you and following up with you and watching for the nuances, these medications could provide amazing results. And we do have people that struggle with chemical imbalances, with depression and anxiety. Their serotonin might be low. And this helps increase their serotonin. A selective serotonin reuptake inhibitor selectively inhibits the reuptake of your serotonin so it stays around a little longer. Doesn't inject anything into you. It just allows your serotonin to not be uptaked as quickly. So it's a fascinating medication. But do we have enough studies about somebody who says, to hell with it, I'm not taking it? Or my insurance changed? Or my Obamacare premium is now higher? I'm done. What happens to these people who miss their dose? What are the studies showing? And then if that's the case, what are we doing to protect these individuals? Now, if you told me you have a person who's depressed and you have a choice of starting them on a medication or not starting them on a medication because you're worried they're going to stop it. I mean, that I would still go with try to get them relief, get them on the medication, let them try it. But that after effect, that what do we do if they can't stay on the medication? We have got to investigate that. Now, Westman, Robert the shooter, in his or her journal, talked about depression, talked about not feeling trans anymore, suicidal thoughts, homicidal thoughts. I don't know what medicine he was taking, if he was or she was taking any medication. But why aren't we looking into this? Why not? You know, we talk about mental illness, how we have to study mental illness. Well, part of mental illness is how are we treating it? What are we doing in terms of nutrition? Do we need to provide injections? Should we do injectable medications so people don't have to remember their pill or keep going to a pharmacy or keep paying a copay? It's scary to think that we have individuals who could be in our society, prone to killing, and we have to medicate them so they don't kill. But we have other individuals who they have really no plan on killing. But they might have depression, they might have anxiety, they might have suicidal thoughts, and then they get rejected or something happens and they're like, you know what? I think I want to leave with a splash. And that's what scares me. That some people, rather than just killing themselves quietly and doing it, privately, want to take people with them. So if RFK Jr. wants to study and make sure that we're not doing harm, that's a medical landmark. That is a rule that we follow every day. And yes, we need to. 1-877-DOC-DALIAH.
At Hot Shot Secret, we share the science behind common diesel problems and their solutions. For example,
diesel fuel cetane levels.
In many states, the cetane rating in diesel fuel is 42 to 45. Most diesel engines operate more efficiently with a cetane rating of 48 to 50. One treatment of Hot Shot Secret Diesel Extreme will raise your cetane 7 points, increase fuel economy, and improve cold starts. Due to a cleaner burn, there are less hydrocarbons and particulate matter in your exhaust. This reduces the blockage of your diesel particulate filter. Using Diesel Extreme generates 83% less DPF regeneration. The 6-in-1 Diesel Extreme formula also includes the most concentrated detergent on the market, lubricity enhancer, water demulsifier, rust and corrosion inhibitors, and a fuel stabilizer.
Hot Shot Secret Diesel Extreme is available nationwide at truck stops, fine farm and auto stores, and online at hotshotsecret.com. Hot Shot Secret, powered by science.
In 1-877-DOC-DALIAH, 1-877-DOC-DALI. So, there have been some demonstrations in Washington, not necessarily about the crime that has now dropped and the arrests of the guns and the found and the lower rates of carjackings and no, they're protesting what's going on with the CDC. And there have been some research and public health leaders who have resigned, saying to, quote, get politics out of public health. Now, I'm a little confused about that statement, get politics out of public health, because one of the reasons why RFK Jr. was popular is because he was going to finally get politics out of public health. So I thought that's what happened with people voting in Trump. No vaccine mandates. You're not firing nurses who were on the front line during COVID, who decided, you know what, I already, obviously lived through COVID. Let me be me, do what I'm doing. Don't make me get the shot. And then they fired them after they, put themselves on the line like they did in the early part of COVID. So RFK Jr. coming into taking over the HHS, to me, is the answer to, all right, let's get politics out of health. public health and let's look at things critically, do our critical thinking, do our due diligence, do our studies, and reevaluate if we are giving advice that might not be to the best, with the best intentions for people, and not use politics. Well, no, they're advocating the opposite. So Susan Monterez was confirmed, I guess, as CDC chief, now refused to be removed. I think there was some disagreement on how she stood in terms of vaccines. And, apparently, allegedly was fired, not aligned with the president's agenda. So now you see this backlash. Okay, well, politics are in medicine. So here's the thing. It depends on what the agenda is. If the agenda is, okay, we've been telling pregnant women and healthy 6-month-olds to get a vaccine that they might not need, we need to look into that. That's, I think, a valid agenda, because we have a lot of pregnant women freaking out. In fact, I am seeing more pregnant women use midwives and not going to their OB because they are so worried that they're going to have to get the COVID vaccine. Okay, I want the best care for our patients. And if we have people concerned about the safety, the efficacy, miscarriage rates, or they're concerned about getting COVID and they want a vaccine, they have to be able to air that and ask and have options. So if the president's agenda is, look, okay, we're not just going to say, go get your shot. This is your shot. Quote Hamilton. And suppress any news on people getting side effects. All right. We're going to be transparent. So the agenda is transparency. The agenda is we're going to look at things to see if they need to be investigated. And we're going to allow patients to make more choices. Now, to me, that's what I think the average American wants. I can't tell you how many Democrats and liberal friends I have were pissed off about the vaccine mandate. So this is something that is kind of bipartisan. Now, I understand RFK Jr., not the biggest vaccine fan. And I understand some doctors were concerned that if he was going to be taking over HHS, we would lose out on the robust vaccination protocol we have for kids. The vaccine protocol still stands. They still can get their polio vaccine, their hepatitis, their tetanus, their diphtheria, pertussis, their varicella. The vaccines are there. The vaccines are recommended, but some changes have been made. And if healthy kids do not need the MMR vaccine, or they want to hold on that recommendation, leave it up to parents' choice, but hold until they could do a little bit more data on what the mRNA vaccine does to a 6-month-old, then I think that's fine. That's well within their purview. So what I've learned is the last 5 years, everything that they claimed was misinformation was actually the right information. When we were talking about how I think COVID leaked 6 years ago from the Wuhan lab in August of 2019, that's misinformation. It came from a bat, or somebody had bat soup, or it came from Italian frozen food. And I'm like, what are you talking about? And then finally, years later, the Department of Energy, the CIA said, yep, with probability, we think it came from the Wuhan lab. All right, so bing, that misinformation now is, I was probably right. In terms of masks, wearing your same dirty masks that are non-N95 are not protecting you against COVID to the degree that they should, because you're supposed to remove the mask after a few minutes of use because you're getting it wet. It's reducing its efficacy. Your mask is not protecting you against COVID to the degree that it should. Oh, that's information. That's misinformation. That's no. They came out saying, you need a better mask. Well, thank you. Mandating a vaccine. Mandating a vaccine is going to cause people to say to hell with vaccines in general and not get the flu shot, and not have their kids enrolled in school to get other shots, we're going to see an uptick in waivers because this was the straw that broke the camel's back. No. Recommending the vaccine won't do that. Yes, it did. Everything I said that was accused of as misinformation is actually true. Natural immunity. We are going to need to incorporate natural immunity in our fight for COVID. No. Only the artificial immunity, just a vaccine. Natural immunity is not going to be enough. Your natural immunity plays no role. The vaccine will be better than natural immunity. Nope. The studies came out saying the best immunity was the combo of the vaccine and natural immunity. If you get the COVID vaccine, this is what they said. If you got the COVID vaccine, you will not spread COVID and you will not get COVID. I said that's wrong. Yes, you could still carry the virus. Yes, you could still shed the virus. Yes, you could still get sick. No, that's misinformation. And what did we find out? You could still get COVID despite getting the vaccine. Patients were telling me that the nurses were yelling at them early on in COVID. And the doctors were saying, this is what happens when you don't wear your mask. This is your fault. You should have worn your mask. And the patients are like, I have been wearing the mask. And the doctors and nurses weren't believing them. I believe them. You wore your mask and you still got COVID because COVID can outsmart the mask. When I said, and this was the most ridiculous thing, that plexiglass that was put between Vice President Mike Pence and Kamala Harris in the vice presidential debate would not protect them against COVID. The plexiglass will protect you. You need, I think it was like 6 foot tall. And a fly flew over the plexiglass and landed on Mike Pence's head and sat on it for a while. Was that misinformation? No. So I want the politics out of the CDC. But unfortunately, it's all full of politics. Pro-vaccine is Democrat, looking deeper at the vaccines and asking for more transparency is more Republican. Why aren't we all agreed? It's medicine. We should all agree that there should be more transparency and more patient choice. 1-877-Doc-Daliah. Hey guys, it's Dr. Daliah. Fantasy football season is coming, but sadly, too many of you are taking the bench while the country takes part in one of the most exciting and lucrative industries out there. Don't know how to play? Well, huddle up and listen. Paul Kalikas and I have written a fantasy football pocket guide for beginners. This book walks you through the basics and shows you how simple and lucrative joining or creating a fantasy football team can be. Read our fantasy football pocket guide for beginners found on Amazon or follow the links on X and Facebook. That's Fantasy Football Pocket Guides for Beginners. Don't be left out.
Have you ever thought you'd like to buy and sell houses but didn't know how or where to get the money? My name is Ron LeGrand, and over the past 40 years, I've bought over 3,000 houses without using my money or credit and taught thousands to do the same. Today, even in a virtual environment, we buy nice houses in nice neighborhoods using no banks, realtors, contractors, or other costly entanglements, and build huge cash flow and wealth without the hassle of tenants, all without credit and little or no money. You don't need a license or experience, and I'll show you exactly how it's done. Text FREE to 99799, and I'll send you my free training. I promise you I'll change the way you think about real estate and open the door to a new lifestyle that doesn't involve risk or rehabs and can quickly replace your current income. Text FREE to 99799, and let me show you how to take your life back and build cash flow and wealth from your home. That's FREE to 99799. Again, FREE to 99799.
As an organ donor, your story doesn't have to end. The good in you can live on. In fact, you could save up to 8 lives and restore sight and health for many more. Sign up right now online as an organ, eye, and tissue donor. You'll be happy you did. And just maybe, someone else will be happy too. Go to organdonor.gov. It saves lives. U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, Health Resources and Services Administration.
All right. So we are back on the Dr. Daliah Show. Thank you all for tuning in. 1-877-DOC-DALI, 1-877-DOC-DALI. So we are celebrating National Blood Donation Week. Yeehaw! Woohoo! It's one of my favorite holidays. After Christmas, after Halloween, after Thanksgiving. I like it way more than Valentine's Day because, I don't like Valentine's Day too much. Always got dumped right before Valentine's Day. But National Blood Donation Week starts September 1. It is the first week of September. And what is so cool about National Blood Donation Week is, one, I helped create it. So yay, me. But no. But what I really, really like about this is you have Republican and Democratic governors unite. It's cool. It's a rare thing to see. And National Blood Donation Week honors the blood banks that are tirelessly trying to get blood ready to go. So when there are shootings and hurricanes and natural disasters and car accidents or people with cancer or anemia, the blood is ready to go. Now, unfortunately, when tragedy happens, that's when people say, okay, I'm going to roll up my sleeves, I'm going to go. And I'm glad they do that. But we have to ensure that people are donating blood before it happens, because it takes a few days to process and get the blood ready on the shelves and then shipped to the hospitals. So National Blood Donation Week, we have the first week of September. September is National Preparedness Month. And September 4th is National Blood Donation Day. So why do we have a specific day? Because that's the day we have governors, Republican and Democratic governors, proclaim state blood donation days all on the same day to show their support. So they're honoring Vitalant, American Red Cross, One Blood, Blood Bank of Delmarva, Blood Bank of Hawaii, Blood Bank of Alaska, Rhode Island Blood Center, community blood centers, so many that are working tirelessly 365 days a year. And just some statistics for you guys. Every 2 seconds, somebody in the U.S. needs blood or platelets. 29,000 units of red blood cells are needed every day in the U.S., which means we need tens of thousands of you to donate blood. At least, now we don't want you donating every day, but this is the amount of blood we need. We need tens of thousands of units every day. Nearly 5,000 units of platelets and 6,500 units of plasma are needed daily in the United States. According to American Red Cross, 16 million blood components are transfused each year in the United States. So that means transfusions are happening at least 16 million times a year. Sickle cell disease affects 90,000 to 100,000 people in the United States. About 1,000 babies are born with sickle cell each year, and sickle cell patients require blood transfusions throughout their lives. Now, the average red blood cell transfusion is approximately 3 units. So if you're donating 1 unit, that's great. But the average person needs 3, which means you and your buddy and their buddy need to come in. A single car accident victim might need as many as 100 units of blood. We can't make blood yet. We can't manufacture it. There's no way. We have to use people's blood and platelets. Now, the blood type most often requested by hospitals is type O. 1 donation can help save more than 1 life. According to the American Cancer Society, more than 1.9 million people are expected to be diagnosed with cancer this year, and many of them will need blood. I like to wear red on National Blood Donation Day to show our support. Visit Vitalant, American Red Cross, One Blood, Blood Bank of Delmarva, Blood Bank of Hawaii, Blood Bank of Alaska, Rhode Island Blood Center, Community Blood Centers, LifeShare. Go to their websites or go to my website at drdaliah.com so I can help you all find a place where you could donate blood. So National Blood Donation Week, we started back in 2015. What happened is Vitalant, which was United Blood Services at the time, said, look, we need blood. Can you host a drive? And for those of us that can't donate blood, if we host a drive, that's pretty beneficial too, because now you're bringing other people in to donate blood and it doesn't cost you a cent. So I told them, I go, well, why don't we get the whole state and make this a holiday and get the whole state involved? So I went to Governor Sandoval of Nevada, who was the governor of Nevada at the time, and he said, if you could write a proclamation, I'll sign it. So I figured out how to write a proclamation. He signed it, and there was Nevada Blood Donation Day. So I was like, well, wow. I mean, if this is helping Nevada, why don't I go to Pennsylvania? Why don't I go to Alabama? Why don't I go to Arkansas? Why don't I go to California? So we have multiple states right now, governors. So we're talking Democratic, Republican governors have all proclaimed September 4th their blood donation day. Alabama, Arkansas, Colorado, Connecticut, Delaware, Georgia, Hawaii, Idaho, Illinois, Indiana, Kansas, Kentucky, Maine, Mississippi, Missouri, New Hampshire, New Jersey, New Mexico, North Carolina, North Dakota, Ohio, Oklahoma, Oregon, South Carolina, South Dakota, Pennsylvania, Tennessee, West Virginia, Wisconsin, Wyoming, Arizona, and Alaska have proclaimed the week. Arizona Blood Donation Week and Alaska Blood Donation Week. So we're just ecstatic that we have all these states involved, and it's a great, great cause. So, we do this each year because people want to help. After the shooting that happened a few days ago, people are like, Daliah, what can I do? I don't have money to donate. Then donate blood, or call Vitalant or American Red Cross with this blood bank and say, look, I'm going to at work host a drive. Again, it doesn't cost you any money. Hosting a drive is as simple as you coordinating what day for the company to come, working with, because the blood bank, it tells you how to, what they need. Do they need outside? Do they need like a cafeteria area? And then you bring up a sign-up list and you tell your coworkers to sign up. It's not that hard. And so if you can't donate blood yourself, the fact that you're getting other people to donate is huge. And that's also what I like about this cause. A lot of people don't have money, and they worry that their money is going to be going to commercials, or going to CEOs. If you donate blood, that's going to good use. In fact, when I donate through Vitalant, they send me a text when the blood is being given to a patient. And I always look out the window to see if they're running around, throwing glitter in the air, because I love glitter, or swimming naked in the Bellagio like that one guy did. I always kind of want to know, if my blood is making anybody do anything, very kooky, if they become all of a sudden very loquacious. That's, watching F1 half a dozen times because Brad Pitt is in it. And he was shirtless, by the way. Yes, he was. Yeah, so that was pretty nice. But, the National Blood Donation Week, to me, one, it honors our blood banks who are busting their butts. And also, it reminds us that there are so many different ways we could help. Vitalant.org, and it doesn't hurt. When I donate blood, it doesn't hurt. And this is what I really like. There's all these snacks you get afterwards. So one, you lose a pound. Okay, your pint weighs about a pound. So one, I get to lose weight, okay, which is good. And then I get to make all that weight up because they have chocolate chip cookies. They get chips, popcorn, drinks. If you do donate blood, we want to make sure you eat well. There's been a lot of questions about people who have sex with men who have sex with men, and donating blood. The FDA has loosened the restrictions because all blood is tested. I had a big problem with, when I would be putting, I would be organizing blood drives at a school I worked with, and my gay students were walking out because they were told they couldn't donate blood. I'm like, really? And, and because it's based on the honor system, people are asked, do you have sex with men? Yeah, if they're coming in with their wife and they say no, we still have to test the blood. The blood still has to be tested. And so now there are restrictions in terms of certain medications that you take, certain places that you might have traveled. If you weigh, I think, under 110 pounds, which I just barely luckily pass, maybe in one thigh. So yeah, there are some restrictions, but it's definitely gotten more open. 1-877-DOC-DOLLY. Don't go away.
believe with all the recent violent protests, looting, and destruction, some areas are considering either defunding or abolishing the police? At a time when America's neighborhoods need the protection of police the most, some elected officials would rather create more chaos by playing politics. If you're sick of elected officials caving in to demands of the radical left, you're not alone. It's time we stand up and declare our support for local police. The majority of police officers are important partners in protecting our God-given rights. If you prefer freedom over chaos, then learn how you can help protect the local police that serve your community. Call today and request your free Support Your Local Police info packet. Dial 800-JBS-USA-1. That's 800-JBS-USA-1. Request your free Support Your Local Police info packet by calling 800-JBS-USA-1 today.